are back for more hockey tonight. It's games 5 and 6 of the WEHL Stanley Cup playoffs tonight, and a possible game 7 if we get another 2-game split in the Stanley Cup finals tonight. Once again, Montreal, St. Louis coming at you here on the pregame show. Hi, everyone. T-Sibs with you. We're going to talk to Fort and Best There Is a little bit later on. Doc Marshmallow as well. But Lucky Pucker was with me. We had a chance to talk to Ehans and to Big Little Guy a little bit earlier on about the games upcoming tonight and how their team has really been doing so far. We're here with Big Little Guy and Ehans. Lucky Pucker joins me on the interview as well. And we've got a 2-2 series now, Hans. And you guys certainly in Game 3 last night played what I think we talked about being maybe the most perfect game that you guys could have played. Everything going well offensively. You guys seem to be moving the puck well. What do you think of the key things that you guys did really well last night that gave you an 8-1 victory and so much success on the ice offensively?
Honestly, I didn't expect to see that. I thought it was going to be a much closer game, but I think we just played our style of game. We didn't let them control how we were playing, and we were just all clicking with each other, and it was just a really good team effort.
And Big, you got to watch last night a little bit. What are some of the things that the basic things that you need to do yourself in order to play the game that you want to play?
Just go out there every game and do what we do. I mean, you can't change it every time. You can adapt to the other team's play style, but we want to control it and not change the way we move the puck and play our game. I mean, both lines of our Montreal team play very high-power offense and great defense. So, I mean, when we meet another high-power offense, our games kind of adjust a bit, and we just attack what they give us. And then once we attack, we take over. We try to take over the game after that. We want them to play our style.
I'm going to chime in on that. We always realize that if we're caught out of position, someone else will more than likely be there to cover for us until we can get back. It's like just the rotation is just very well, and everyone just knows where to be, and a lot of chatter in the chats during the game as well. So it's just very helpful. It's very helpful to have that with the team.
Thank you guys for joining us on the show, and appreciate you joining us. So my question is really geared towards both of you. You guys have both played kind of the Rapel line. They've gotten beat both times. You've both played the RV Clutch White Knucklers line. They've been able to find a way to win both those games. What have you seen from each of those? How important is it for you to beat the Rapel line tonight? And what are you guys going to do differently when you face the White Knucklers line?
Go ahead, Big. Take it away. You can start it off.
All right. The Rapel line, we're just going to keep doing the same thing what we've been doing. And the Knuckles and RV, I mean, I played game 2 against them with the lag out in the third period. And we started doing a lot better towards the second period. They did control us in the very first period, like big time. And we changed our game style, but I think both teams got 5 major penalties. And then when they got their one after us, that's when like the momentum changed for us, and we actually started moving the puck more and being really aggressive on their goalie. I think we got like 14 shots with the second period. If we could keep doing that against them and control the way we like our defense, where we don't chase and just let them, they can dance all they want. We just got to control them and not let them get in between us and be poised on it. And I think we have a chance against Knuckles and RV. I mean, they're 2 solid, good players. I mean, especially them 2 on the ice together. I mean, they're deadly, but they are beatable.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you can't, and you can't even count out Rappel's line either, because I mean, you don't get to the Stanley Cup final one line. I mean,
well, that's also Rappel also played center last night, and he's not a center.
Yeah, they're not that. They were all playing out of position. So I mean, But you can't count that line out. I mean, we're obviously, like Big said, we're just going to keep doing what we've been doing against that line. And I mean, in the game 4 last night, we played a great game. We played sound defense. We didn't let them dance. We played our game. And then the last 5 minutes, we just broke down, and that's how it could be like a snap of a finger. They scored 2 quick goals, and it was just the game was over right when that happened. As soon as we stopped playing our game and let them do what they want to do, the game can change in a heartbeat. So we just have to.
Any mistake, any team can capitalize off of.
Yeah, exactly. They'll make you pay for any little mistake. So we just gotta keep that down to a minimum. And I know the stats like crazy that we're the most penalized team or something in the playoffs. But I mean, last night we didn't really take that many penalties, and we had a pretty decent night. I mean, we went 1-1, but the second game we still played a very decent game. So
I was going to say that kind of leads me into my next question, which is really going to be kind of geared towards you more, Ehans, and you're more than welcome to jump in there, Big Little. But yeah, I felt like game 4 was very, very close. In fact, I'm rooting for St. Louis. I got a lot of friends on St. Louis. No offense, but anyways. So you guys got me nervous. I was like, oh snap, St. Louis is about to lose this game. So I did feel like you guys had a really strong game 4, and I think you're gonna need a game. I think you need to win it in 6 if you can. So what can you take from, like I said, that game 4 and carry that on and carry that momentum? If nothing else, it was a moral victory because you guys played your hearts out. You played well. So what do you need to take in to win this game 5 and 6?
I mean, honestly, if we play the next games in that game like we did in that game 4 until the last 5 minutes of the game, we shouldn't have a problem beating anybody because if we let them do what they wanted in the last 5 minutes, and that's what came back to bite us in the ass. And that's all in all why we lost that game, was because they were able to, do their L2s and dance around with the puck. And as soon as we bid on one of their moves, it's game over pretty much. But I think it was a good takeaway out of the game. We saw how they played, so now we know their play style, and I think it was good to see that, and I think everyone's fired up for sure. I'm sure on St. Louis side as well. I don't want to speak for them, but I'm sure everyone's fired up. Nothing's better than Cup finals.
Oh yeah, the Discord's been going off back and forth, and then personal messages in between everybody too. I mean, there's been little chirping, but other than that, it seems like everybody's been respectful from both teams. I mean, it hasn't got crazy like back in the beginning, with CDAX and all that crap. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been a lot respectful, and I mean, both teams are here to play to win. I mean, honestly, we are the underdogs. Everybody thought St. Louis could possibly sweep us or take us in 5, and here we are, going into games 5 tight.
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to give a quick shout out to D's Nuts last night, the goalie.
Yeah.
He made arguably the best save of the playoffs, and if he didn't make that save, I think we would have won that game.
He robbed your hands.
Absolutely robbed me. I was so heartbroken when we were playing that. I was so sad, but yeah, that was a hell of a save. You got to give credit where credit's due, and he definitely deserves it.
Yeah.
Big Little guy coaching you, telling you go to practice mode. Gotta love it.
All he does is cherry pick when he plays, so I don't listen to anything he says.
Oh yeah, I'm the cherry picking center. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, hey, there you go. Never come back on defense, and all you do is cherry pick. That's what I heard at least.
All right,
I'm going to say one last quick question for Ehans here. I think we caught you in the stream practicing your dump. How important is that going to be going into 5 and 6 to be able to dump the puck over the boards?
Yeah, I had to make sure, just in case, God forbid.
You ate too much Chipotle.
Yeah. I'm running on the Chipotle. Run every after work at least twice a week. That's the game fuel for me.
Hey, I have one more question for you guys before we let you go. you mentioned all the penalties, and certainly on both sides that's happened. And honestly, I think it's about the finals. It's about guys, not wanting to make a mistake, trying to really defend hard. Do you think after 4 games, most of the guys have gotten the jitters out and you'll settle down a little bit more? You mentioned that certainly in Game 4, you guys did a better job with that. Do you think you guys are now at a point where the first couple of game jitters are out and you're going back to playing your normal game now?
I hope so. We can't be taking 4 or 5 penalties a game. I mean, that's a terrible stat. You don't want to be known as the team that has the most penalties.
Or any majors. I mean,
yeah, that's terrible.
Not a mistake. A major is a player not paying attention. I mean,
yeah,
you cannot go in there for a major.
Penalties can change a game. As soon as you take a penalty, that switches the momentum right away.
Right.
A team could be down 3 goals, and if you get a 5-minute major, there's no saying that team could easily come back in that 5 minutes. It's huge, and I mean you gotta stop taking penalties pretty much.
Right.
Even when we're playing in the games, we take 1 penalty. I'll be the first one to say all right guys, let's go. That's it. No more. Let's play smart. It's out of our systems now. No more. We gotta play a sound game now.
All right, guys. Well, listen. Good luck tonight, and listen. It's all going to be on the line tonight, and everyone's played well in this series, and we wish you guys the best of luck in any of the games you play tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
And we thank Ehans and let's see. Let me get the guys back in here for a second. We thank Ehans and Big Little for the pregame show and for the interview. We've got Pucker, best there is, and Fort with us now. And let me start with you, Fort. Again, we got a chance to talk to a couple of guys from Montreal tonight, but let's look at the St. Louis perspective. They're able to keep the series at 2-2, and they've had some tough games where they've given up a lot of penalties. They haven't really quite played the game that they've done in the first few series. They've been held in check, and even still are at 2-2. And, my feeling is always if they really break out, they can win the next 2 easily. What's your feeling about St. Louis? Have they played their best hockey yet, or have we seen them just get by at this point? And if they do explode, it could be a big problem for Montreal.
I mean, truthfully, I think both teams have played some of their best hockey. I mean, obviously you don't make it here because you're not playing your best hockey. I think they've kind of gotten by with some of the mistakes that they've made, rookie mistakes, and obviously we seen last night. They had a goalie that made his first playoff appearance, and you kind of stress about that. And obviously, there's some mistakes that are going to be made, but hopefully it doesn't come back to bite them.
And best to this point, the games that you've been able to watch with us, what's your take on how St. Louis has played up to this point? And do you see that there's more room for them to be a better team in the finals here?
Well, from what I've seen, St. Louis can when they do. I don't know.
Yeah,
St. Louis is sometimes they can take a game over if if their top line's playing and they're not making the mistakes in their own zone that we've seen the mistake happen so far in these playoffs. Watching them from my observations, usually when they lose games, it's usually because they have breakdowns in their own zone.
And again, let's hit a little bit to give you guys a chance to talk about Montreal again. And at best, we didn't have you in here last night. So again, Montreal an 8-1 win in that third game, and really drew to 2-2 in game number 4, and were on the attack. Had a chance to get ahead. What do you take away from watching Montreal to this point? Are they playing above their heads, or is this the real talent level that they're showing in the playoffs? Is this really the team that we see on the ice, or are they playing well above their level?
I think that's who you're seeing. To be honest, they got some really good players on their team. The games I've been watching them play, they handle the puck very, very, very well, and that's one of the keys to beating St. Louis is keeping the puck from them. So you got a bunch of guys that can handle the puck very well. That you're gonna be in a good spot if you can hold on to it, of course.
Right.
I think they're the real deal, in my opinion.
What's after 4 games? What's your take on Montreal? Is there anything different than what you've been saying about them in the first 3 rounds?
No, I mean, obviously from rounds 1 till now, I've thought Montreal has been kind of one of those sleeper teams. The guys, they're not looked at. I think they've kind of proven that that they're a team that can definitely play with St. Louis and can, obviously they can need to be put up to play with St. Louis.
And we have, I think we have Pucker back in here. Are you around, Pucker, or are you dealing with any kind of league stuff right now?
Yeah, so far the phone is quiet. Haven't had a whole lot of questions just yet. So, yeah, no, I'm with you.
Hey, talking to those guys, one of the things that I noticed in our discussion with them is that, they seem pretty loose. And I kind of feel like sort of what they were telling us off mic, like whatever, like you hear this before, everyone counting us out. Nobody thought we were going to be even competitive in the first round. And I feel like at this point, Pucker, these guys they're playing with house money. They, if they don't win, it's what a lot of people expect, and if they do win, it's going to be a tremendous shock. It's like there's no pressure on them at all right now.
Yeah, you hit it right there on the head. They're definitely playing with house money. That was one of the questions that we had a little bit more time with them that I had thought about asking. At this point, my question to them would have been, you guys have won the Eastern Conference. Are you happy with that? Because you got to be, considering where you were at earlier in the season. You think that they would have to be content, but I'm sure they absolutely want a Stanley Cup to win the whole thing. But like you said, I think they're playing with house money. The pressure, there's as much pressure as there can be in the Stanley Cups. I don't think they have as much because they were just not expected to do this well. And they're a great team. Like, I figured it out in round 3 how good this team is when I watched them play Detroit, and they just dominated the play game in and game out. I mean, Detroit is a good team, and they played some good hockey, but Montreal just manhandled them in that series. And that's when I figured out how good this team was. And I actually forgot that they were an underdog going into the finals.
Well, we're a few minutes away. I mean, we're a couple of minutes after 8 o'clock right now. We should be getting teams together shortly, and hopefully we'll have a game for you to see in a couple of minutes. Again, T. Sibs with Fort, Best There Is, and Lucky Pucker tonight. We hopefully will get Doc on at some point as well. And if he was here earlier, and I guess we bored him, so he couldn't wait through the pregame. But we'll be getting a stream on here shortly. Get you game 5 and 6, and the matchup too has also been very interesting to me. You've gotten some good St. Louis lines that have had to fight to stay in a game a couple of times and have gotten blown out as well. And I wonder, when you're cruising during the season and you cruise in the first round and the next 2 rounds, you pretty handily win. You're getting out to the finals and you're really getting some pushback more than the St. Louis front lines have seen in the whole playoffs. And I wonder how much of a toll that takes on these guys. Your confidence, I've seen teams where their confidence is incredibly high. They're always winning. They're always killing teams. Then they start playing teams late in the season. Then they start playing teams in the playoffs. And the competition, it just steps up a lot more. and then it all depends on whether or not these guys handle that pressure well. And I think St. Louis has done it pretty well so far, but they're definitely not playing the best that they've played in the playoffs. And I wonder if that erodes away at their confidence for it. I wonder if St. Louis is now saying, okay, this isn't going to be a cakewalk. We're going to have to work a lot harder. And, does that register with them knowing, okay, we could play better, let's just go do it? Or do they start being concerned about trying to find an opening, trying to score a goal? I wonder if this affects their confidence having to struggle so much in this round.
Oh, I mean, definitely. I think, as we've heard Nasty Uncle Dad talk, he said that, coming in, they didn't think too much of it. They just kind of thought, okay, well, it's Montreal. Well, now you're going into Game 5 and in a series that everybody thought that St. Louis was just going to sweep. And you're looking at, possibly not even having an outcome until probably 10 o'clock tonight.
Yeah, very likely.
10:30, 11. And, so, I mean, I can understand, obviously, you kill teams all season, and then you get into the playoff form thinking, all right, well, the first 2 rounds are, they're a little bit easier, and then you get to this third, or you get to this round, and now you've got, a team that really nobody thought was going to make it this far, putting up a hard-fought battle. I mean, yeah, I think it definitely kind of affects their confidence and how they're looking at this right now.
Hey, so in your mind, you see this going 7 games then?
Oh yeah, I have no doubt. Well, if I had to put money on it, I would definitely say that this series will go 7 games. I mean, you got 2 strong, never give up teams that are battling, and obviously we've had one blowout this entire series. So everything's back and forth. Everything's really up in the air until that final whistle blows. And I think that, this could be a series that we see go 7 games for season 1.
What are you feeling about this, Best? Is this a 7-game series? Do you think it's going to go that far?
Absolutely. I absolutely do. Because as good as Montreal is, St. Louis, I think, is just equally as good. So I think this is going to definitely go to 7 games.
What are you thinking, Pucker?
I think it's a great series. I do see this series somehow finding a way to end in 6. Now, flip a coin on whether you want it to go Montreal or St. Louis, but I think this series ends in 6, and I think we have a team that somehow wins 2 games tonight.
And if it gets to let me have you speculate while we're waiting for this to go. If this gets to 7 games, let's just talk about the front lines. Who do you think these teams are going with? I'll let you start off, Pucker. What are the front lines you think we're going to wind up seeing in Game 7 for both of these teams?
Yeah, so I would anticipate on St. Louis that you'd see RV Clutch left wing. You'll see White Knucklers play center. It'll be interesting to see who they put at right wing. Frankly, I'm not a huge fan of High. I'm new to the game. I think he's a decent player. He might have the most chemistry with White Knucklers and RV, but I think they have more better options that they could put in a Game 7 situation at right wing. So I'm going to leave right wing as a wild card. It could be Rapel. It could be a couple of different guys. Maybe even Cornette, actually. And then on defense, I think you see lefty Josh the Boss. Right D, I think you see Nasty Uncle Dad. They just have the most chemistry with White Knucklers line. So I think you've got to give them the guys that they're most comfortable playing with. On Montreal's side, I've actually already seen their Game 7 lineup, and so without giving anything away, I'm just gonna pass it on to Best and Fort and let them speculate on what they think that the Montreal Game 7 line might be.
I'll throw it out there for Fort. I mean, what are you thinking as far as the at least the forward lines if there's a Game 7?
truthfully, I think you're gonna see a white knucklers and RV clutch in Game 7. I mean, it's pretty much a no doubt that you're gonna see them in Game 7. As for that right winger, I know Pucker, you kind of said that it was kind of a flip of the coin, or that you really didn't know. But I wouldn't doubt that Rapel puts himself in that game. A big deciding factor game. I think any owner is gonna want to be there,
Right.
And gonna want to be in that game.
Sure.
Even if it does mean playing out of position. As for Montreal, I don't even know if I know too many guys on Montreal. Where did they go?
I mean, I'm just looking at, if I'm just looking at the original, the original lineups that we saw from these teams, I mean, the first game they threw a big little guy out there with Dirty Dog and Vikings, and I don't, I'm not seeing that being a team. I'm not seeing that being the starting lineup that we see in that game. I'm looking at down south Ehans and Fingers. Really, I mean, I feel like they've played so well, and Hans is so good at finding space on that left side and starting the play. They have such good chemistry in how they pass. I mean, I feel like I would want to go with that. I've seen teams do this. They break lines up for a Game 7 to try and put out the best forwards. Well, if they're not used to playing with each other on a line, to me it's a waste. You're taking a chance that these guys are going to somehow find chemistry in a Game 7. I think you go out with a full line, and I think for Montreal, I think it's got to be that line of South, Hands, and Fingers. Still waiting on the start of a game here. Not sure what's holding us up here, but hopefully we'll get it going here.
I was gonna say, while we're waiting on the the game to get going, to talk about the different ways guys can connect to the hockey league.
Very good for reminding me of those things. Thank you, my friend. Let's do that.
You're great about that.
Let's. We will show you here on the YouTube feed. Again, WEHL Sportscast, and on the main page right now, you'll see a link to the YouTube channel. Right now, if you just click on it, it'll take you right to this live feed, which obviously you're at. But we'll leave that live feed up there, that live feed banner, so that you can always get to it when we do things. For Twitter, Instagram, we've got WEHL Official. And for Facebook, the World E-Hockey League on Facebook. And another good place to communicate with everybody there is on that Facebook page as well as in Discord. So find us in any one of those places. We're trying to hit up each and every one of them with information about the games, about the upcoming draft. I believe there's still an upcoming draft. Is that the case? And
right.
Well, I'm guessing. I have no idea. Whatever else is going on, we'll try and and any shows, we'll try and post them up there as well if we have any specials coming up, which I hope we'll do in the off season. Try and get a recap of season 1. Talk to everybody in the league, everyone who's put this league together and who has been doing a hell of a job running this league. We talk about Best, but who is also Keith, Scott, and Amanda have done a fabulous job in season 1. Not just putting together a league, but having a site out there, having a good Discord, getting guys like Fort and Dog what they need to do media, getting Doc on board, getting Pucker on board. Just a lot of good stuff in season 1, and I think plenty to come in season 2, and we'll be back doing as much media as we can as well. And listen, if you're interested in media, go ahead. I think it's in the application section, which is at the top of Discord. There is a media app section, and if you want to just at least let us know in there that you're interested in doing media, Fort and Dog will take a look at that and keep you in mind. Let us know what you want to do. If you want to do written media, you want to do a show, whatever. We could use as much help as we can get. There can't be enough shows. There can't be enough power rankings and articles out there as far as I'm concerned. So tell us if you're interested, and we'll get you involved one way or another.
Definitely.
Good.
As you were saying with power rankings, I know that was something that we want to do next season. Is kind of come out with whether it be a weekly or bi-weekly power rankings. Also, we have a couple guys. Pucker, I just seen that you commented. I know on the YouTube. I'm not on the Twitch channel right now. I can get there really fast though. But on the YouTube channel, a couple guys. Eric Hansen. I'm assuming that's Hans. Said go Habs go. Dustin Johnson go Habs. Super B Gaming, pumped for these games. It would be awesome if it goes 7. Yes, I think if it goes 7, I think that that's a huge thing. Just more coverage for us. More coverage for the league. More. I think a game 7 will really get a lot of guys interested in what's going on.
Yeah, Superb talked about it in Discord, and he was. I guess he's kind of new. He was amazed and happy to see the media that we're doing. So we thank him for watching as well tonight.
Yeah, I was going to say we've got a bunch of comments on the Discord side too. Scottian says it's going to end in 6. We've got DLC. Series is over in 2 games tonight. No doubt St. Louis is going to come in big. Nasty Uncle Dad says St. Louis in 7. Big Josh says 7, doesn't say which one he's predicting. So we love the comments, guys. Keep them coming. You guys are doing amazing, helping the show. And thanks for watching. We love having you guys.
Montreal is just about ready in their locker room, so hopefully we will get this one going shortly here. We thank everybody for tuning in tonight. Once again, T-Sibs with you, along with Fort, Best, and Lucky Pucker. Hopefully we will get some other guys in here a little bit later. And, of course, in the postgame, once we have a winner, we'll get as many we'll get at least 4 guys in here, 3-4 guys in here to talk about their win and how they feel afterwards. That's always a lot of fun. I've done a few of those, and those are a blast to get guys on after they've won. So stay tuned for that. Looking forward to being able to show you that and get the guys' reactions after a cup win tonight. It's going to get settled one way or another. The guys are just about ready to get this game going. I don't believe anybody dropped, but we'll find out in a second here as we bring you to the arena as the game is about ready to start here. And game number 5, ready to drop the puck. Montreal with the first opportunity.
Good start.
And immediately a penalty against St. Louis.
Good job, Graham.
You're going to be hearing Dakota here, so we've got his feed tonight. We thank him for it. He is your right D, and an opportunity there just going wide. Montreal driving again now. The Blues trying to kill some penalty time. Under a minute left to go in the power play here for Montreal. And able to flip it out is backhand jamboree. Montreal will start up again. 30 seconds on the power play. Clutch. Sorry. Hans.
Beauty.
And a pass in front and a great opportunity. That's a loud one.
Wow.
Sorry,
yeah, talk about some excitement there, man.
I'm sorry for using that derogatory term.
I need to get them not to share their party audio. But a power play goal. It puts Montreal up front right away in this one.
They're hyped, huh?
Clearly, Dakota is hyped. Another opportunity for Montreal. Puck held, and we'll get a face-off. But again, kind of like what we saw in Game 3, guys. Montreal starting out immediately. Not much from St. Louis early on.
once Montreal gets going, it's hard to stop them.
Yeah,
Another
so
quick shot.
did you talk about the lines for St. Louis?
Go ahead. You can read them off.
Yeah, so for St. Louis, it looks like we've got Top Cheese at center. And honestly, I'm glad that they threw him in center. I was looking at their forwards. That's probably the best guy that they could have put there with iPass being out. Cornet at left wing. It's average on right wing. We've got Skinny Pete playing lefty, who had a rough game last night, but maybe he can have a much better game at left D. It's Ghosh at right D. And then front line Carey, who's an elite goalie, holding up the back side.
Cornet. There we go. Cornet with a penalty shot here right away, but not able to connect on it.
Right,
a good poke check there by Cab, and the golden opportunity for St. Louis to tie this one up goes by the boards. Cornet made a good move to get in, but got tripped, and a penalty shot called, but couldn't capitalize. Blues again, a tip in front, a goal for St. Louis, and it looks like Cornet's going to get credit for it.
All right, boys, let's go.
So St. Louis able to draw this one to 1-1 now.
How to do that intermission?
Yeah, and we'll see what kind of pressure they can continue to put on in this game. Now it's kind of turned a little bit with the Blues getting more opportunities. Montreal finally able to start out. You've got Dog, Little Guy, and Vikings up front in this game. Dog tries to wrap. Puck is loose and does go in.
Oh, wow.
And looks like, I guess it looks like Montreal may have called a timeout there. I'm not sure, but immediately we've got some sort of timeout going on here, and so we'll get back to this as soon as it is out of the timeout. But it looked like the wrap occurred, and Montreal has a goal to go up 2-1.
I think they're changing their party audio.
I was going to say, for the record, there is no rule on the goalie interference for this season as far as, so don't message me. I don't want to hear it.
So Montreal
Good
back
job,
in front
guys.
here. And a check immediately. St. Louis getting the puck back off a good hit. Now Montreal starting back up. Dog has it. Spinning in. Gets it over. Big. He looks like he was tripped up, and another power play for Montreal coming up. Cornet's going to go off. Montreal a chance here to take a little bit bigger lead here halfway through the first period. Now quick shot, good blocker save there by Frontline. Puck loose in front again, another penalty, and it's going to go against St. Louis again. And now a 5-on-3, as you see, for 112. And can they capitalize?
See what I mean about them controlling the puck?
Yeah, Montreal's doing a great job of controlling the puck. They need to capitalize on these power plays for sure.
Pass
I definitely agree with that.
Yeah, Vikings pass gets intercepted, and now Montreal needing to start out again. 35 on the two-man advantage left as they cross the blue line. Blues in front, pass backhander by Dog. Good save. Now a shot off the inside of the post and in. A beautiful play by Dog, and he gets credit for the goal.
Yeah, it looked like frontline Carey was trying to anticipate that backdoor pass because that blue was wide open, and in doing so, it left the short side wide open, and they were able to find a way to put the puck in the back of the net.
Yes, they did.
3-1 lead for Montreal. Still had some time on the power play, but not able to connect here just yet. A few more seconds left to go as now the teams are at full strength, but Montreal coming in 3-on-1. Now a quick opportunity and a good fake pass by Big Little Guy, and it is now 4-1 Montreal.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, you can see that St. Louis just looked a little out of shape right there. They had 3 guys at the red line and then 1 guy behind the blue line, and it ended up being a 3-on-1, and Montreal was able to capitalize and get a nice goal.
I'm starting to see a pattern here, boys. Like the first game of the night, it seems Montreal is always has the more jump. But then St. Louis comes back in the second game with the more jump.
Now another opportunity. Backhander by Dakota goes wide. Found his way in front of the net, so they're crushing a little more pressing, even with a 3-goal lead on defense. Seeming like they're out for blood in this one.
Yeah, absolutely. And I do think this is a must-win game for Montreal. If they want to find a way to win this series, they got to have to find a way to win this game. And they're doing a great job of putting pressure on St. Louis. I would anticipate St. Louis to be able to find a way to put a couple more goals on net, make this interesting. But Montreal's absolutely doing what they need to do, controlling the pace, controlling the puck, and getting good chances.
Good pass in front, but a good block on a shot by Dakota. And now Vikings trying to control. And he gets across the blue line, and an almost onside pass to big little guy, but he was just a step off. This team did not play, this team played well. This lineup of Dog and big little guy and Vikings played well earlier on in this series in game number 1. Looking to keep it going here. St. Louis getting a chance there. Last seconds ticking away. Montreal getting it out. Shot off, but a little too late. And after one period, Montreal, nice start. St. Louis came back to tie it, and then Montreal went on a run, 3 straight, and have taken a 4-1 lead after one. It's amazing when Montreal is dominant in a game, it really seems like St. Louis disappears. And it's only the first period, guys, but I'm not seeing an awful lot out of the Blues except for that one run and a missed penalty shot. That's tough to have in a final series.
Yeah. St. Louis is going to have to find a way to string some offense together, start to limit the Montreal's offensive prowess, try to slow them up at the blue line. I'd like to see St. Louis kind of do a 5-man back and just kind of control that blue line. Don't let them come across. Don't let them have anything easy. Maybe give a little bit more support to the left side of the ice on Skinny Pete's side, and then just do their best to limit Montreal's scoring chances and find a way to get a couple goals on a couple pucks on net.
Period number 2 starting up, and an opportunity here right away. Puck is loose in front, finally covered up by Frontline. Big little guy trying to get a shot off backhander, but he was being hounded a little bit and couldn't get anything off clean. So now a face-off to the right of Frontline. Just starting the second period here with the Canadians up 4-1 after one.
Yeah, and you see all the forwards still kind of playing a little bit high. They need to back up just a tiny bit more, and that'll help their defense out so much. I think you could see a whole change of pace if St. Louis would just kind of back up just a few more steps and just help their team out a little bit more with the trap.
Blues get it in the zone. Kornecht spinning, looking for someone in front. Couldn't find anybody. Big coming out. Now Dog back to Big, and a great give and go between Dog and Big little guy, and Big with another goal in this one. He's got the hat trick. It's now 5-1 Montreal.
And you see that winger for St. Louis stopped skating, and if he would have kept skating, he might have been able to put a stick on that puck from the left wing before he was able to clear that pass. St. Louis has got to play all the way through to the whistle. They can't stop skating like that.
Now back in the zone against Montreal, trying to keep it in. St. Louis having trouble getting it out. Now a 2-on-1 opportunity. Good quick pass over to Dog, but his shot goes wide. St. Louis offside. So really getting nothing going offensively now.
Sibs, from a goalie standpoint, how hard is it to go down 5-1, early in the second? What does that do to your mentality?
Well, the way that Montreal's been able to get in deep like they have, and again, another great opportunity, that puck just sitting in the paint. The way they've been able to get good chances in close, that it has to be worrisome, the front line. He's not getting an awful lot of help. They're walking right in on him, and I don't care how good you are in net. That's just not a good situation. Doc would probably tell you the same thing if he was here.
I was going to say, it's kind of like the other night when we were talking about that 8-1 loss. Like, there's no way it was all Skinny Pete's fault.
Sure.
St. Louis has got to find a way to – I think it's got to start with the forwards. They got to find a way to help their defense a little bit more, and I think in turn it's going to help the whole team.
Yeah,
including the goalie.
I tell you what, we're watching some guys here standing on the ice. I think St. Louis is having some big lag issues. We've seen this twice now on faceoffs where a couple of their players are standing still for a few seconds. It looked like Kornick was stuck there for about 20, 30 seconds. We'll have to find out after the game, but it is they're having some problems. Not sure why. Pass in front is taken and stolen by Blues, and now Big coming with it. Not able to penetrate deeply enough. Now back to Dakota. Big again. Playing catch with Dakota. Now out front, trying to find Dog, but he had to get past three guys. Now on the right side, Kornick there. Comes in and puts it home, glove side.
Oh.
And that's what Kornick is capable of doing.
Yeah, he's going to have a huge game if St. Louis wants to come back and win this one. He's been able to do it. He's put up a lot of points throughout this playoffs. It'll be interesting to see if he can lead this St. Louis team to a win tonight in this game.
Second goal of the game for Kornick, as we said. Could have had a hattie if he hit that penalty shot, but Montreal now, their lead cut to 3. Pass in front. Good, quick opportunity for Big, but could not connect. Good blocker save by Frontline. Under 4 minutes left to go in the second. Montreal taking their time, trying to work something in. Now pass in front. Looked like it was going to go in, but off iron. Great opportunity for Dog, but could not connect. Now Big in front, tries to wrap it. Not able to do it. Gets it back. He's going to walk in and puts it home. And again, Montreal just able to stroll right in on goal, and not much that Frontline can do with that.
They just seem out of sync, St. Louis does. They just all seem kind of off,
Big little guy with 4 goals in this game now. It's 6-2 Montreal. Now, I got to believe comes a game 7. I know Kornick's on this line. I know Knucklers has his line, but I wonder if you try and get Kornick involved somehow. If there winds up being game 7. Well, we'll get to that once we get past this one. As the second period's about to wind down, and Montreal holding on to a 4-goal and now a 5-goal lead late in the period. A good quick shot. Some great hustle by Montreal in this one. And they now take a 7-2 lead.
Wow.
Yeah, this is looking like that 8-1 beating we saw the other night. Montreal is just firing on all cylinders, having a great game, playing well. St. Louis is struggling as they have with this line the whole series, unless barring a miracle, this will be Montreal's game, and we'll move on to game 6, and St. Louis is going to have to find a way to win it for sure, and they want to stay in the series.
7-2 now, you see, after 2, and Montreal really looking like they're going to take game 5 here. We kind of saw this with game 3 as well, guys, where you look at it and you say, well, what can St. Louis do now? What should they do? Is there something about them that they need to work on, something for a possible game 7, or if they're in this next game or not? I'm not sure what St. Louis can do at this point, or if there's anything they need to work on. But Kornek's been their offense so far. They're not getting much else from anybody else at this point, and I got to believe they're just trying to ride this one out at this point.
Yeah, I don't think that St. Louis really needs to do a whole lot of difference. I think we kind of see a tale of two lines. You kind of got a Jekyll and Hyde situation on St. Louis between the what I'm going to call the Rapel line and the White Knucklers line. Rapel's line just has been off the whole series. White Knucklers line has just been firing on all cylinders and been able to win every game that they've been in. And so, no, St. Louis doesn't need to do anything if they're able to stretch it to game 7 other than what they've been doing, because they've just dominated the play. I think it's up to Montreal to find a way to stifle the St. Louis offense and find a way to get a couple good bounces.
And another penalty was going to be called, but great persistence by Montreal, and big with another goal for Montreal, making it 8-2.
And Big is just having an absolute phenomenal game. We had him on the pregame show, and you mentioned, that how loose and how, light he sounded when we were talking to him. And I think, when you put up this many goals, you kind of relax a little bit. The pressure is no longer on you, and you get to just have some fun. And I think that's what we're starting to see from Montreal. They're just having fun now. They don't have to try too hard. They just have to keep doing what they were doing, and they're going to continue to be successful.
I know that. Sorry, I know we had talked about it in the previous series, I believe. But with the addition of Rapel coming back, and him kind of having his own line again, I don't know. We had talked to him. He said that he had gotten away from kind of playing with the guys, and I wonder if maybe that is having some kind of doing in his line not performing up to par of what everybody seems to know his line for.
Right.
Yeah, it's definitely a possibility. I'll let you talk, Sibs. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. We just got another goal by Big Little Guy, so I'm not sure what else we could say about his performance tonight. 6 goals now. It is 9-3 Montreal.
And I want to give credit to Cornette, too. Right before Big Little Guy put that puck in the net, Cornette came down the ice and was able to get his hat trick. We were kind of visiting a little bit, and just wanted to, good job, Cornette. Keep it up, and, get ready for the next one.
Yeah, he's doing all he can do out there right now. It's just not been for them.
So back to what you were talking about there, Fort, about Rapel's line and everything like that. There's just been a lot of, changes that I make due to availability and things of that nature, and I think that contributed to it. Like you mentioned, Rapel being out, I'm sure that contributed. Never mind. You know what I mean. And
yeah.
Anywho, so yeah, there's a lot. I think it's multifactorial. I don't think it's that just because he came back, it's I don't think it's all on him by any means.
Oh no, and I hope that's not what you were thinking. I was saying was that it was all on him coming back. No, I think it was I think obviously that White Knucklers line has been playing very strongly, and trying to maintain that same pace, I guess you could kind of say. Maybe that is kind of getting to that second line. Maybe maybe there's some stuff going on there that maybe, maybe we don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
St. Louis with a couple of opportunities, but still coming up short a little bit. Another chance for Montreal as we hit the 7-minute remaining mark here in the third period with Montreal in command of Game 5 and on their way to a 3-2 lead in this best-of-7 series. And another quick shot. Dog almost getting it, but Frontline getting a save in there. And Frontline just trying his best out there, but not getting a lot of support in front. It's way too many one-timers and passes getting through. It is brutal for him tonight. And there's a good quick pass, good give and go there for St. Louis to get an opportunity out front and put one up there, drawing it to 9-4. They're trying to work a little bit on their offense here. Now St. Louis starting back out again. Offsides, 3:08 you see left to go in the third period. And now the only thing I'd be concerned about if I'm Montreal is my guys getting a little bit overconfident. They come out of this with a 3-2 series lead. They still have to win one more, and you hate to be right at the precipice and take your foot off the gas. And I think,
Get burnt.
if I'm Fapper, that's my biggest concern.
Yeah, I think Fapper does a pretty good job of kind of getting his guys in the right headspace for all these games. I think we've seen it, throughout the different rounds of the playoffs. They always come out with fire. They're pretty consistent with how they play. There's not a whole lot of games where there's a lot of breakdowns, and so yeah, I think Fapper will have his guys lined up and ready to play. I think the pressure will definitely be on St. Louis to be able to, because it's do or die at this point for them. And at this point, it's going to be, Montreal's going to be playing for house money to go to Game 7. So, yeah, I think Fapper will have his guys in line, and I think they'll come out ready to play in Game 6. And they very well could find a way to win that one, too.
One more drive here, as Montreal has a power play to finish out the game. Some pressure by St. Louis here as the puck is held on to. We are down to 1:23 left to go in this third period, with Montreal about to take a 3-2 game lead in the Stanley Cup Finals here, Season 1 of the WEHL. And Big Little just trying to work on maybe some of the passing here. Montreal, little power play work here. Get a little practice in, but St. Louis now coming the other way. 2-on-1 opportunity. And a good check. Great play by Dakota. He split that one and then went to the puck handler at the last second and knocked him off. Now Big moving in, taking his time. Now in front. Puck picked up by Skinny, but now backhand opportunity. Good save by Frontline. Now in front, wrapped attempt was missed, but now Big Little Guy gets it back on the other end.
Wow. Just wow.
Unassisted power play goal by Big Little Guy. And it's been all Montreal in this one. As the third period comes to an end here.
The way they handle that puck, man, is something ridiculous, isn't it? Whew.
I mean, just the puck handling tremendous, but the amount of room those guys were able to get in front of the St. Louis net, and again, we talk about a goaltender. If I'm Frontline, there's not much I could say about it at this point. You have to be quiet and not say anything, because it is it's brutal. There's not much you can say at that point. And
Well, I
you
mean,
know,
you can't. I mean, it's not all
sure.
the goalie's fault. You know what I mean? I think like I used to tell my guys, you win and lose the team. So
So that's yeah. He's 7 goals there, 26 shots against. Unfortunately, for St. Louis, front line having to take 26, and just 7 goals as you see, and an assist in there for a big little guy. He did assist on one. 3 and 5 for Dog. 5 assists, 3 assists. Some good work there. Good help on defense, and Cab making some big saves when he needs to.
Too.
Yeah,
The faceoff dot 68%, just dominated it. Big little guy had a big game all the way around.
26-11. You see shots on goal. 11-26 to 3-42. Time on attack. And that will show you an awful lot about what's going on with a team when something like that happens. So, just an amazing game. And the first question I have to ask is, if you're St. Louis management, how quickly do you think you can get your guys to forget about this one and move on to Game 6?
I think the pros is that you got 2 different lines playing, so essentially their memory is automatically wiped from it for the most part. Now, I do think they may have some of the similar guys, but their forward line's completely different. It looks like the left D is going to be Rapel, and so he's still going to be kind of getting over this game. Left defense, so as long as he's able to kind of hold down his focus on D and go able to block. I see a whole different concept from the St. Louis line, so I think they'll play a completely different ball game from what we just saw. So
a 4-1 lead after the first period, a 7-2 lead after the second period, and then 10-4 the final. And Montreal really, after going ahead 4-1 after the first period, you saw a repeat. I feel like St. Louis was feeling that too. And they just continued in the second period to pour it on with 4 more goals and just really, with 3 more goals and just really struggling, a struggling St. Louis team on defense to get anything stopped. And, it was just a situation where Montreal, every pass was going through. If the shots weren't hitting the net, they were going off the post or going barely wide with opportunities where they could have scored. So, 10-4 could have been even worse, amazingly enough.
Yeah, as crazy as it sounds, it could have been worse. I think it started, with the forwards. They were a little aggressive on the forecheck. They weren't playing back far enough. The center ice was wide open, and that makes the defense pinch down. Then they throw the puck wide. Now the defense has to spread wide. Now all of a sudden the middle of the ice is wide open, and that's what we saw play after play after play. And they just couldn't adjust. They never had another forward back to play the third defense, and that's what you got to do against these good offenses. You got to have 3 guys in the defensive zone before the puck comes across the blue line and be man-on-man with each one of them. So they don't have anywhere to pass it to. It's you versus the guy in front of you, and if you're able to beat them, then your team gets the puck back. If they beat you, then they're going to get a good scoring chance. But you got to man up against them. You got to play toe-to-toe with them, and that's what St. Louis failed to do in this game in my mind. They failed to match up. They failed to adjust, and as a result, we just saw Montreal kind of get in a groove and saw what was working. And St. Louis never stopped it, so they just kept abusing it. It was almost like a glitch. They just kept doing the same thing over and over again, and it kept working.
And in Game 6, it looks like St. Louis has frontline carry back in net. Am I correct there, Pucker?
Yeah, so D's Nuts has played his max games, so frontline carry is back in this game. Luckily, it's a different line, so hopefully he can just kind of brush that one off, say, hey, it's not my fault, get his head straight, play a quiet game, and just help his team win this next one. Force a Game 7.
Yeah, what are the chances of Frontline being able to put this game behind him? I don't know him well enough, so I'm not sure. He seems like I've seen him play a couple of times. He's certainly a good goaltender, but any goaltender, I don't care how good they are, you have a game like that, and then you've got to come back and play another game right away. And obviously, it's a different squad around him, but I just have a hard time believing he's going to be able to put it past himself that quickly.
Yeah, I don't want to, to be honest, really. I don't think he's going to be able to. I think it's going to be resting on his mind. Unless St. Louis can go in, get a practice game, and come out with a win in that practice game to kind of boost his confidence, I think that that game's still going to be there. I think it's going to be heavily on his mind, and I think that I definitely think that it's not going to be pretty. If it's there, you're obviously going to second guess everything you're doing, and maybe that's what can help Montreal go, and win it in the 6 games. Is kind of keeping it there on his mind.
I was going to say that I think it would be real tough for him if Montreal comes out and finds a way to score 2 quick goals. All of a sudden, it's looking like game 5 again.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that would definitely start to mess with his mentality. But I know this St. Louis line pretty well. I don't think you'll see this many defensive breakdowns that lead to this many good scoring chances if they play to the way that we know they can play.
Yeah, I think if Montreal comes out quick, gets on the board, I think it's going to rattle him. I think he's going to be on his heels. I think he's really going to be thinking about every move he makes, every slide he takes, every post hug he makes. Is it good enough? Is it, and obviously a goaltender. I'm not one, but obviously you don't want to let your team down. Even just playing regular games as a goalie, you don't want to let your team down. So in a game like that, to have something like that, yeah, it's going to rest heavy on him.
And we're looking at these front lines, guys, of, again, Knucklers, Clutch, and Bergeron for St. Louis. Down south, Fingers and Ehans for Montreal. If there's a Game 7, I got to believe we're going to see these 2 lines again, and probably still Fapper and I guess D's can play Game 7, correct? Or is that not correct?
Yeah, so the difference is I think you'll see from the St. Louis's line is everybody can play Game 7. So I imagine that they'll swap out that defense a little bit from what it is currently. The goaltender, St. Louis has 2 really great goaltenders. Frontline didn't have a very good game that game, but he's a fantastic goaltender. Yep. He's done well in the playoffs. He's done well in the regular season. But I don't think he'll get the Game 7 game, and it's nothing against him personally. I think D's Nuts has just kind of been in the zone. He's been playing well, so I think D's Nuts probably will get the nod just because, it seems like he gets, that 1 extra game a week anyways. So It seems like that the team's confidence in him is a little bit higher. And then, like I said, the right wing, it's up for grabs. We've seen all sorts of different people play right wing for St. Louis, and it'll be interesting to see who they decide to throw out there. There's no question it would be a mistake for them not to play White Knucklers. It would be a mistake for them not to play RV Clutch. So unless something happens and they're just not available to play, we're going to see them. There's no question.
Hey, Rapel's in at left D in this one. I find it interesting he's back on defense, and if they're able to get it to Game 7, do you bring him back? If they win Game 6 and able to take it, do you put Rapel? Does he put himself back on defense again to try and provide a little more offensive pressure? And I find, it's interesting that he's in now in Game 6 on left D.
Yeah, if I think Rapel's probably watching this show, so if you're gonna take my advice, bud, sometimes it's better to let the guys that are on fire take over for you. Tip your hat to them and let them go win you a cup. It's hard to ride the bench when you're the owner, but sometimes that's what you got to do. So.
Yeah, that was something that I had said was, if it comes down to it, I could almost see Rapel kind of being the owner. You obviously you always want to be there. You want to be part of it. And yes, owning a team is probably the best thing. But kind of being able to help your guys and everything. It's definitely big, and I think that Rapel would kind of be like, okay, well, let's do this. I'm gonna play and we'll lock it down. And I think that's just kind of and I think every owner kind of thinks that way. I think every owner is in a big game, whether it's trying to clinch the playoffs or whether it's winning a Stanley Cup. I think every owner wants to be in that game.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be sitting on the sideline when your team's not doing well and you go, dang it, I could have been there. I could have been doing something differently, Yeah, it's hard. But, they've got a stable of talent, and it's nothing against Rapel. Rapel is a fantastic player. I've said it from day one. He just hasn't had the best, line chemistry to produce what he's been able to do in the past. I'm not saying anything against him. What I'm saying is that you've got a guy like Cornette that's putting up points after points after points. He's just playing his heart out for your team, and he's done a great job. Maybe you step back and let him take over in that right wing position, or maybe there's another guy that just dominates right wing that you have to nod your hat to or tip your hat to and let him play it. So it'll be interesting to see. I could totally see anything happening in Game 7. It's anything could happen.
Montreal is. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, yeah, definitely. I can see. I can see anything happening. Really. I mean, it's Game 7. And, obviously everybody wants to be the hero when it comes down to it. And I think that Rapel is a good guy. I think he's got, what it takes to kind of help lead his team. And, if he can make the right decision in that heat of the moment, then I think it could be good for St. Louis.
And you talked a little bit earlier about this, Pucker. Obviously, D's with not any more chances to play in Game 5 or 6, and you take the chance sometimes of playing guys early, and and their availability is gone for a few games, and obviously last game. I don't know if it would have made a difference if he was in net. It may have. I doubt it, but. You come back to a Game 6 now, and this is where, we'll see whether or not that makes a difference. I agree that Frontline is a tremendously talented goaltender. Dees has been hot, but it's also about who's been hot, and I think he's been a pretty hot goaltender as well in the playoffs. So, either one of them you need to count on. If you're going to win a cup, you got to have two really good goaltenders. In my mind, I've never seen a team who wasn't stacked in net that won a championship, and I think Montreal's got that, and I think St. Louis does as well, and so I think Frontline could certainly win this game for them, but your back is against the wall now in Game 6, and you don't have D's ready to go. You take that chance. It's all part of management, and there's no wrong answer because you don't know how these games are going to turn out, but might be a little bit of a downgrade. Possibly just because Dees has been a hotter hand in net for the Blues.
Yeah, he's had a phenomenal series. He's had a phenomenal run in the playoffs. You got to go with a hot hand. Dees is if St. Louis finds a way to come back, I definitely would anticipate seeing D's again, for sure. And I also expect Midnight Fapper to be on the other side of the ice. He's a great goaltender. He's led his team this far, and I think that he'll definitely be out there for their side for sure too.
Still waiting on a player or two for Montreal. Hopefully they'll have their guys together. We're looking at a Montreal squad in this game of, as we mentioned, Ehans down south and Fingers up front. Fat Matt and Backhand Jamboree on defense. And I think we see Fapper in this one. We'll see.
The goalie switched from game 1 to game 2, and so yeah, I think we'll see Fapper in game 6 and probably again in game 7.
Still waiting on him to show up here, so as soon as he's ready to go, we'll get going here. We are hitting.
Did you already cover the?
Go ahead.
Did you already cover the lines for both teams?
I didn't do St. Louis, so go ahead. Why don't you take care of that?
Yeah, so game 6 for St. Louis, we've got White Knucklers at center, who's just dominated the whole playoffs. Has got over 40 points. RV Clutch is, I think he's covered 50 points, and he's at left wing. We got Bergeron at right wing. We've got It's Rabel at left D, It's Skosh at right D, and then frontline Carey in net. And definitely a high-powered offense from St. Louis. We also have the more defensive. It's crazy to say that the most offensive line for St. Louis is also the most defensive line for St. Louis, but it actually is.
Well, Rabel's that good. He's you don't see a lot of guys who can be a good playmaker up front and also play good defense, but he is a good all-around player. He's one of those guys who can play just about anywhere on the ice, and so it doesn't hurt them to put him on defense at all.
Yeah, no, and I reached out to Rapel and I just said, game 6, you got to focus on just doing your job. You can't overstretch. You can't focus on offense. You're lefty. You got to lock down lefty. As long as you lock down lefty, things will go well. You got 2 studs in front of you. Let them go to work. Let them get you this win. Just do your job and you'll be fine.
After a game 5 like that, Best, what do we see a lot of different players here, but we see a common goaltender in net for St. Louis, the team that had 10 scored on them. Is that at all a factor in your mind in this game?
The goalie, absolutely, the goalie factors. But if I think if the goalie's as good as I'm hearing he sounds, I think he can bounce back and have a good game. Absolutely. I think a goalie can steal a game for you, as a matter of fact. If they played well enough, they could definitely steal a game.
Gotcha.
I was going to say, when I look at my goalies, when I'm building a team, I look at a couple things. I look at their goal against average, I look at their save percentage, I look at their number of shutouts they're able to get in the regular season and in the playoffs. And front line is what I would consider an elite goalie in all 3 of those areas. So yeah, he absolutely could steal this game for St. Louis and force this game 7. And it would be great for him to be able to kind of show out and do that and kind of redeem himself from this game 5. And I do want to stress, I don't think that game 5 was necessarily all his fault. In fact, I think most of it was just defensive breakdown after defensive breakdown, and that's a whole team unit. I'm not talking about the 2 defensive players. I'm talking about the whole dang team.
Yeah, you don't give up 10 goals and not have it be an entire team effort. So, yeah, I agree with you on that one.
Yeah, I think it's easy to get caught up when people are talking about defense and offense to think that they're just talking about the guys that are playing those specific positions. But that's not when I say defense, when I say offense, I'm talking about the whole team offense, the whole team defense. So, right. Yeah, everybody plays a part, and everybody's got to do their job, and you got to trust each other. You got to trust each other to do what you need to do, and go from there.
Montreal is searching, so we will hopefully get a game going here shortly.
Yeah, and to the viewers, we've got the comment channels up. If you guys have anything you want to talk about, if there's anything you want to bring up that we haven't already brought up, feel free to throw in the chat or in the comment section, and we'll try to get it in here and make this more, audience-friendly live coverage, and kind of get you guys involved in the show as well. We're doing this for you. We're glad that you're here watching us, and we want to thank everybody that's helping us get this done tonight. T-Sibs does an amazing job night in and night out. Yeah, thank you for what you do.
Finally going to get a break after tonight. It's been a month. It's been a month worth of games. It's been hellish.
So there you go. You want to talk about that a little bit? What are you going to do with all your time off now, Sibs, in the off season?
Not piss my wife off would probably be the best thing I can do at this point.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how pissed off is she at you already?
She's not that pissed off, although she did take the opportunity to go to Atlantic City today for a couple of days. So when I told her I'd be covering games the next couple of nights, she's like, yeah, I'm going to go away. So
I love it.
By myself tonight. Yeah, it's it's good. I can go yell and scream tonight, and it's not going to affect anybody else. So
we actually had a couple guys earlier during the games going on that they said that this coming up season will be their first season playing for the WEHL. So
cool.
That's good. That obviously we're reaching out. Danglers Hockey, when does season 2 start? Keith, you want to June 6th. Okay. So all of you guys that are watching, make sure you guys go to the worldehockey.com and make sure you guys fill out the sign-ups sheet for season 2. So that way you guys can be put into the draft bidding however things are going to work this coming up season.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have a couple of comments coming in. Nasty Uncle Dad says, hope St. Louis STL gets the dub. Zomboy said, LOL. The Nasty Uncle Dad said, what I'm saying is Nux and RV can carry the whole league. Big Josh agrees with that comment. And the comments are starting to roll in, boys. Keep them coming. We love it.
Montreal still searching, so not sure of the hold-up on St. Louis's end, but we're at 9:09, so hopefully we will get this game underway shortly.
Zomboy says, go Wings. You gotta love it.
Good to see folks are watching tonight. We've got a bunch of folks on YouTube, a few on Twitch, and hopefully next season we'll get a full dedicated Twitch channel up as well so that we can be on both platforms for you. We know some people have preferences to one or the other, so we'd like to try and provide you with that as much as possible. Give you more options to watch all the shows, and like I said, I think we're going to have some interesting media for you next season, so hopefully you all will enjoy it, get a chance to watch more games, get a chance to watch more shows, and hopefully we'll get a chance to learn more about players in leagues as well. So it's nice to see people tuning in, and we're hoping to give you more content next season.
Yeah, and if you're interested in, helping out the league in any way, shape, or form, there's applications for almost every facet of the league. We've got applications for disciplinary. I think the owner's application is closed now, but there's applications for media. There's applications for, helping out with the stats. So if you're interested in helping the league out in any way, just go to the Discord channel, find the appropriate link, and, find something that you want to do, and we would love to have the help. Our goal is to grow this league and make it as good as we can, and we can't do it without people like you. So if you're interested in doing something like that, jump over to the Discord, fill out an application, go through the interview process, and see where we can get you going.
Still waiting on this one to get started. We're playing. Looks like Montreal's playing a game of locker room challenge at this point. So, don't know if St. Louis is just trying to make them wait, get them a little bit frustrated. But I think they're going to back out of their dressing room and restart it. I'm not sure what their plans are, but a lot of times you wind up doing this. You're better off just restarting again. And going at it. So we'll hopefully probably take a couple of minutes before everybody's all ready again, but like to get this one underway. I'm not even sure if it's most of us. Some of us have to go to work tomorrow, so it'd be nice to get this done. We could have a Game 7. Prefer not to be doing this at midnight, 1 o'clock, so be great to get this game number 6 going soon.
Yeah, hi, I'm News in our chat, and he's saying he can't take anything away from Montreal. They've played absolutely phenomenal. They're doing some great things. So giving some credit to Montreal and the way they've played and showing some respect to their opponents. And that's what I think both of these teams have started to do. I think they found mutual respect for each other. They're both great teams, and no matter who ends up winning this whole thing, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, it's good to see new people wanting to join in too. I got to say, it's I've seen leagues that have been around for several seasons struggle with a lot of different aspects of running a league, but for the first season, with this new league, it's been, obviously there are growing pains and there are things you want to do better, but I've seen a lot of things run really well, and that's why I've committed to coming back and doing media here. I am committed to doing nothing else for any other league. This is it, at least for the summer season. We'll see how things go, and it'd be nice to get more players to commit. We've got plenty of talent in here, and like I said before, I like the fact that there are so many players in here I have not seen before that are getting involved, and guys who are not. They're not, low levels who couldn't make it in another league. They are comparable to AHL and NHL that I've seen in other leagues. So, really a good talent pool, and it'll be fun to get a full NHL up again, and who knows, maybe get some AHL going too.
So we have a request from the comments section, and that is that, while we're waiting for these games to get going, that we show a couple of those highlight, Bud Light commercials.
Oh, yeah, you see that too from Uncle Dad?
Yeah, to make it more like the real playoffs.
Oh, God. I know, I seen that. I was like,
I'm afraid to ask what these look like.
He said watching the stream on my TV, like watching the real playoffs minus the beer ads. Well, that's
so Sims, if you could throw some butter, great.
Anything's possible in the world of broadcasting, but
right?
And we've got Montreal still waiting on a few people. So, if it's possible, we'll try and get up there, get something up there for you here shortly. Which Budweiser commercial are you talking about?
Just pick anything that you have available. That'd be fantastic.
Oh my
Anybody
God.
drink Budweiser still?
I don't even know. Like, I know a lot of people.
I know they still make it, but...
Yeah, right. Like, I know a lot of guys that would, like, sit down and play this. I would think, like, now the big thing is Busch Light, So, I don't drink Busch Light. I drink Bud Light. So it's like, okay, well.
Wow. I wonder if some of these guys have even seen some of these commercials that we might be able to show them.
Take some throwback commercials. That'll be great.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh God.
Can I get this on? Here we go. Oh, is that showing up there? No, I can't get
Yeah,
audio.
No. Here we go, boys.
Not getting any audio out of that. I'm not sure why. Oh, jeez. That's a failure.
You know what we should do? We should ad-lib this. We should have to be what these guys are saying. Which one do you want to take?
Oh God.
Ad-lib.
Oh God, this is the one from.
We should ad-lib this.
Oh, jeez.
God, that's the one when they I can't even remember the scary movie or whatever. They're like, "What's up?"
Yeah, the what's up. Is it? I mean, that's a while ago.
Oh God,
Some of the guys who are probably listening right now who have never seen that.
Yeah, they're
I
probably
imagine.
like, "What the fuck?" They're probably like, what am I tuning into?"
Jeez. Yeah, for whatever reason, I can't get audio on it. That's my bad. I'm not sure why that's the case. Well, Montreal
We'll try to
searching
figure that
again.
out. Moving. I was gonna say we'll try to figure out for next playoffs, and maybe we can throw a couple of those in there.
That wasn't even widescreen, too. That's how old that commercial is.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that was interesting. Real old school. Well, we'll have a game to show you here shortly. I think Montreal is searching. We'd like to get number 6 going here. It is 17 after the hour. So we're a tad late at this point.
Just sitting here, I know we've got a couple new subscribers, and one of them being Hockey Guy, another one being Slam Gaming, and Michael Unsell. So thank you, thanks for the support to the channel. We're getting close, night in and night out, to our 150 subscriber. So you guys make sure to subscribe to the channel, hit the bell, so that way you guys get notified when we go live on any of our weekday shows or weekend podcasts.
Yeah, so let's be clear about the rules of these giveaways. Are people that are on the broadcast eligible to win? I'd like to know that. And I'm sure Sid would too.
No,
You guys are
I will decline it. I am not gonna. People will say favoritism, fix. I don't want to hear that. I am out
I
of
will
that.
totally take it if I win it. And my name is Michael Unsell, and that's the name you just read off, buddy.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, is it really? That's cool. I was like, man, I don't even know, like, because like most of the time when I get people that like that subscribe, I'm like, oh, like, where did you, like, and then I realized it's like somebody that I've been playing with for like 6 months, and it's like, oh, okay, I don't even know your real name, but all right. Unfortunately, that's what happens.
That's the problem with being with connecting on Facebook. Is the only thing I really have an issue with is that it's it's not matching up to your gamer name. So it's a little odd. That and the fact that you can go and look at stuff on my profile, which I'm pretty sure at least half of this group I'd rather not have them look at anything personal.
The game playing 801. How do I join the league? You can go to our website. It's worldehockey.com, and there should be a sign-up link for Season 2. Just click that, fill it out, and then it'll give you a link to the Discord, I believe. Am I right?
Yeah, it's on the right side of the screen. It's actually a form you can fill out right there. I believe that is the case. So.
It's embedded on the webpage. If you're on the mobile phone, all you gotta do is scroll to the bottom of the page. Towards the bottom of the page, it'll be there. And if you're on a laptop, it'll be on the right-hand side of the screen.
So Skinny Pete is in at left wing in this game. So that's a big change. Maybe something is up with Clutch, but Skinny Pete is in the lineup at left wing for the Blues. So
Alrighty.
we'll have to find out if that's the reason why we were waiting. Maybe, and there are maybe some other playoffs going on that are an issue, but we're finally, I believe, going to get a game going here. A game number 6 with Montreal up 3-2 in this best-of-7 series. Glad you could join us, T. Sibs. with you, along with Pucker and Fort and Best with you. St. Louis is going to take a penalty here. St. Louis in the white, Montreal in the red. So the Canadians having to get a power play right away here in a golden opportunity to get an early lead in this game. St. Louis trying to clear it out and cleared out in their own zone. So a two-man advantage for Montreal.
Oh, wow.
139, two-man advantage here in the first period. Ehans controlling. Seen him circle around a lot in this series on that left side. Fingers behind the net. Tries to get it out front, couldn't find down south, but gets it back. Good quick pass and a good shot by backhand, but another nice blocker save there by Frontline, and he'll hold.
Honestly, that looked like it was going in, and then it looked like it tipped off of the defender and then bounced onto the blocker. Such a close. Looked like it was on net for sure.
20 seconds on the two-man advantage. St. Louis trying to clear out, but can't. Backhand has it. Tries to get a pass in front, but a good block there. And another clear out, and we're going to get another St. Louis penalty. Rapel going off now, so a loss of a defenseman.
All right, boys, got to settle down here. You can't be making those bad penalties. Just cool your jets, square up, make the dump down the ice. You'll be all right.
Able to clear it down now, and the two-man advantage expires. 135 on a one-man. Now finally back on the ice, and a 5-on-4. Tip-in opportunity. Good positioning by Frontline. Got a glove on it and holds it.
Yeah, this changes the dynamic of the whole game with RV clutch out. White Knucklers is a beast in by himself, but it helps when you have that other guy to kind of take some pressure off of you and let you get a little bit more space. Him and Bergeron will be able to work the puck a little bit, but I don't think we've seen Skinny Pete play much on the winger, so it'll be interesting to see how this game plays out.
He was in a D in the last game, so I believe it was the case.
Go ahead.
I was going to say he's been a utility player. He's played net. He was the guy in net a couple nights ago for that 8-1 beating. He played defense. Now he's playing forward, so he's been their utility player and been able to fill in where they needed him. So,
I was going to say, I know that we've seen him in net, and he made his playoff debut, and maybe they've seen something that they like to bring him back.
It's always good to have someone on your team who's ready to play at any time in any position. When you need it, you need a lot of guys to feel that way about playing. But certainly Pete has been available, and sometimes that's all you need to keep a game and keep your team in it. St. Louis controlling, trying to get out of their zone. Finally do, and Montreal resets here. Partial dump in by Fingers, but couldn't really get it going, and now Rapel tries to move it out. Pass up for Bergeron.
I think I'll wait to release the. I've got game 7 lines for both teams now. I've gotten permission from both their owners to release them once game 6 gets started. But I feel like we should probably wait till later in this game when kind of have a better idea where this game's going to go before we release those.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how this game progresses, and we'll talk about it as we're getting closer. 9 minutes left to go in the first. Still no score. Montreal attacking, and now starting back out again. St. Louis. Bergeron gets it back from Skosh. Now moves in again. Skosh inside. Puck bouncing around, now picked up, and a good play by backhand to disrupt the puck handling in front of his goaltender, and Fapper able to hold.
Yeah, that one's another good scoring for St. Louis. Lewis in the front of the net, passing lane to a wide open St. Louis right on the left side of the ice, and they were able to get Montreal was able to get a stick on the puck and prevent that pass from getting over. But another great scoring chance for St. Louis.
An opportunity in front. The chances for Montreal so far haven't been nearly as deep in close yet, so not great chances for them yet, but they're at least working the puck around. So is St. Louis. The chance in front, a rebound is big one, but not able to be capitalized on by, I think, Pete over there on the left side, and Fap was able to get in there and hold on to it.
Yeah, so what St. Louis has got to watch themselves do here is, they want to keep the puck in deep offensively, but they got to not sacrifice defensively by doing that. I think Montreal's best chance is to catch St. Louis deep in the offensive zone and cause a turnover, and the next thing you know, they're going the other way, and it's an odd man chance. And Montreal's shown in this series that they're able to capitalize on those odd man chances, and so I think that's probably Montreal's best chance to find a way to get a couple goals here.
Saw the hit on Bergeron there at the blue line. He got leveled. Montreal tried to start out with it, but iced the puck, and so St. Louis now is getting down under the last 2 minutes of the first period. Able to keep it in. In front, opportunity, and it looked like it was going to be a good one there for Knucklers, but a trip up and a penalty against Montreal. St. Louis will have a minute 4 to work with here in the first period. A good quick shot and a glove save right off the face-off, and Fap there to make it.
Yeah, I don't want to bug Rapel too much, but I think that I was going to message him, and he's focusing on the game, so I'll leave him alone. But I think RV Clutch is out sick or something like that, and so that's unfortunate because if he's not able to play Game 6, it'd be interesting to see if he's able to come back and find a way to play Game 7. Hopefully, he's able to take some Imodium and find a way to get back in this game. For Game 7 if St. Louis is able to stretch it to that.
Good quick pass, and Fap able to see that one coming towards him. 1.2 left to go in the first period, and relatively quiet. Both teams getting their opportunities. I would say the play has been pretty even so far, but St. Louis will have a little more power play opportunity in the second period. No score after one. It's been a tighter game than we've seen in some previous games. I think Game 4 yesterday was somewhat similar. Montreal doesn't want to make the first mistake, and St. Louis is playing very defensively. See how this goes for the second period. You see Montreal 6 shots to 5 in favor of the Canadiens. So, again, pretty even play right now as we wait for the second period to start.
I'll tell you what's been kind of surprising is I kind of felt like that with RV Clutch out that St. Louis would struggle moving the puck into the offensive zone a little bit more than they have. But they've actually done a really good job of still finding the lanes and finding a way to get the puck in deep and move the puck around a little bit. And, you know, more often than not, when they get the puck in to the zone, they're finding a way to get a shot on net. We're seeing St. Louis shoot a little bit more than what they normally do. Normally they hold on to the puck a little bit longer, find that, you know, perfect chance before they bury the puck. And St. Louis has done a good job of just kind of, you know, keeping that offensive flow going, even though one of their top players is out.
St. Louis trying to continue on the power play now. Back to the point, shot deflected, good save, good positioning there. St. Louis has now finished out the power play. Montreal is back on the ice in even strength. Blues attack again. Good quick play in front, good deflection, and a chance again on the rebound, but Midnight was there to make the save. So good chance for St. Louis there, but good positioning by the Montreal goaltender to keep them off the scoreboard. Back to the point. Pass. A good quick save. Now a penalty coming up against St. Louis, and thought that might be against Montreal for a hit, but it's going to go. Actually, it's going to be a power play for St. Louis, so it is against Montreal.
Yep. Montreal needs to find a way. St. Louis needs to find a way to capitalize on this power play. This is going to be one of the better opportunities that they're going to have throughout this game, and they need to find a way to get the puck on net and get a good scoring chance every time they enter the zone.
Puck tipped away. Blues recover and try and start out again. And now deflection off the post. Good deflection opportunity, but the Iron saved them that time. Power play is over for St. Louis. Montreal kills another one. So close to getting an early lead and not able to capitalize on the Blues. Now they come back in again. Skosh gets some room. Shot goes wide in front. Knucklers is getting opportunities. He just can't quite find an opening to put it home. St. Louis again attacking. Now another poke check and a steal, but 4 men in front for Montreal, able to stop that and get it out. Fingers controlling. Matt now backing it out. Ehan's trying to get it in. He's not been able to get in on the left side as easily as he had before. In previous games, he's struggling a bit. And now Matt tries to throw it up. There's nobody there. Finger's not there. Won't be an icing, but St. Louis will control again. More than halfway through this game. Go ahead.
St. Louis has done a great job, just dominating the play. They're getting chance after chance after chance, and they're really doing a great job of controlling the puck and limiting this Montreal's opportunities. And that's what they've got to do. They've got to continue to keep the pressure up. Unfortunately, they haven't found a way to score yet, and so it's still 0-0 game, and any shot can go in just like that from Montreal. They almost scored. St. Louis has got to keep the pressure and try to get a couple of these goals to go in.
Another chance behind the net. 5 minutes left to go in the second. Still no score. And now intercept. Montreal might have had a chance to get some numbers there, but slowed down with a bad outlet pass. Down south, able to get it behind the net for Fingers. He loses it. Rapel looking for a way out.
Normally, White is real quiet in these parties. It'd be interesting to be in their party and hear what he has to say, if he's kind of coaching this team as they're playing, or if he's just letting things develop as they come.
2 minutes left in the second period. Icing call on Montreal. So a chance for St. Louis to win a face-off, possibly deep in the zone, and make something happen.
Sibs, when you're involved in these kind of games, do you find yourself kind of coaching your team, or do you just let things develop as they come?
I shut the mic off as soon as the game starts. I might say something between periods, but that's about it. Ehan's trying to get around 3 players. Now gets off a shot. Good blocker save by Frontline. St. Louis maybe one last chance. Nope. Good play by backhand to knock him off the puck. And after 2, not a goal on the board yet. We saw a lot of firepower in Game 5. It has been just the opposite. Good defense on both sides. Not a lot of great opportunities for scoring. St. Louis probably had the bulk of the good opportunities, but Midnight Fapper has been there to make a couple of good key saves off of rebounds. And it is a 0-0 game after 2. You see 12-8 shots on goal in favor of St. Louis. And they have double the time on attack. So Montreal not able to play their offensive game just yet. And I think that's been a big difference for the Canadians. It's really not been much going on offensively, and they've really had to play a little more on the defense. It's probably been a little more in favor of St. Louis so far at the play. Starting the third period here, T-Sibs, Fort, Best, and Pucker with you. Game 6, third period now as Montreal comes in. Puck is loose in front. Now poke check almost puts one in, but front line in good position to stop that, and there'll be a face-off deep in the blue zone. Montreal trying to control it, but can't now. St. Louis starting out. Good play by Knucklers, now trying to get out front. Tried to pass back to someone, no one was there. And the Canadians should be able to get it out of the zone. Now an offside call will stop the play. Backhand being hounded. Now able to get it out. Good forecheck by St. Louis trying to make something happen. Now the Canadians trying to make a few quick passes. Get it behind the net for Ehans. His wrap. Puck is loose in front. But a penalty being called on St. Louis, and now Montreal will get an opportunity. Looks like the Canadians are a little more active now offensively. Blues send it out. Montreal will have to regroup. Offsides there for the Canadians.
I'll tell you what, when I'm on a power play like that, I don't think there's anything more frustrating than a bad offsides to kind of kill your momentum.
Cleared out again. So Montreal struggling a little bit. Looked like they had some momentum going, but haven't been able to carry it into the power play just yet. Now South gets a shot off. No good rebound there. Cleared out one more time. Maybe one more chance for Montreal to get something going here, but being tied up against the boards. Good play by Pete to make something happen there. Penalty is over. Team's at full strength again, and 13 minutes left to go in the third with St. Louis now driving.
Yeah, St. Louis just put on a clinic on how to do a power play and keep the other team out of the offensive zone and stretch that 200 feet of ice. Did a great job on that penalty kill.
Some opportunities there for the Blues as Knucklers was able to get in there, get a shot off, but again, good positioning by FAP in this game has really helped make it tough for the Blues to get anything offensively and look for rebounds.
Tibbs, are you at the faceoff right now?
Yep.
Okay, good.
St. Louis driving in, 10 minutes left to go in this third period. Seeing a lot of the same what we've seen in the first two. Hands trying to work it back to the defense. They might be trying to set it up where they're getting guys bunched, and now Hands in. Good quick pass over to down south, and he slams it home for the first goal of this game. Montreal takes an early 1-0 third period lead.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, that's going to be tough. St. Louis hasn't really clicked, in a significant way as far as, finding a way to get a really high quality scoring chance other than when they've been on the power play. They've gotten, shots in bunches. They need to find a way to, hold on to the puck until they really get that clean, good chance and bury one here. And it's also going to be real tough on the defense not to start getting jumpy and try to jump up in the play. The best thing St. Louis can do right now is just kind of settle back down and do what they've been doing, but just try to get better scoring chances.
South from Hands and Matt at 11:43 of the third have given Montreal the 1-0 lead. And now, do they keep attacking? I think they have to keep playing the same game they've been playing.
They should.
Yeah, I don't think you slow down at all here. I think you just got to play the game you've been playing. And, you know, obviously St. Louis knows, they know what's on the line here. So, you know, you're going to see some urgency here from St. Louis coming up.
5 minutes left to go in the third. Go ahead.
You kind of see it with that forced pass right there from the defense. You got to be a little bit patient here. You're down. You got plenty of time left. You got to take care of the puck and just really take advantage of the opportunities that you are going to get and find a way to get the puck close to that net and bury it.
Can't get the puck out of the zone. St. Louis gets it back. Skosh trying to push it in. Now, possible wrap attempt didn't happen. Knucklers didn't see it. That side of the net was open, but now Matt gets it. And Montreal needs to get it out. They do. Hands was almost there, but St. Louis will get it back and drive again. Coming back in now, Rapel gets it back to the point. Good shot. We're under a minute left to go in the third period. Montreal trying to hold on to a 1-goal lead for a cup championship.
And St. Louis is putting the pressure on. They've had the puck almost the entire time in the end of this third into the offensive zone. They just can't find a way to get the puck in the back of the net, and we see them on another rush here.
Now back to the point. Skosh has it, moves in. Tries to get it in front. Good block by Ehans. 30 seconds left to go. Puck cleared down. And it's an icing. It looked like Montreal was there first, but they did not give it to them.
What?
Wow.
St. Louis man got lucky with the
You're
EA call
kidding
right
me,
there.
right?
Let's see if that comes back to haunt them.
At work tonight.
Whoa, you are kidding me, right?
Shot is blocked. Now coming back is down south. He gets it in the zone. 16 seconds left to go. Trying to get it back out. Good intercept by Fingers. Montreal trying to hold on. 10 seconds left to go. Offside call with 8.1 now. Timeout's already been taken by St. Louis, so they have to keep on playing.
Oh, man. Dude, like, this is, oh, man.
Let's go, St. Louis. Find a way to tie this up. Let's go.
Montreal controlling. They get it out. St. Louis trying to get it back in. The puck is loose. 1 second. And Montreal will win the game 1-0. A Game 6 victory and a Stanley Cup championship in Season 1 of the WEHL.
Wow.
Oh, congratulations, Montreal. You guys absolutely earned this victory. You earned the cup. You guys have played amazingly throughout the playoffs. David beats Goliath. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
What a finale. What a way to finish the Stanley Cup Finals for our first season. Amazing job, guys.
If that right there doesn't tell any owner in this league that anything is possible, I mean, Fapper came in, turned this team around, and now to win Season 1 and the Stanley Cup in Season 1, it's ridiculous. Like, congratulations to Montreal. Congratulations to all of those guys. You know, and Fapper, you did an incredible job, man. You turned it around and you made a statement for the league that says anything is possible. Wow.
And you have to give it to everybody in Montreal who stuck around, who were there for the hard times and were able to play through, find their way in the playoffs, and then just absolutely turn it on in a way we haven't seen any other team be able to do. Did an absolute phenomenal job, and I can't tell you guys how proud I am of you. Great freaking job, boys.
Yeah.
That was a great series. It really was.
An interesting game, just an amazing final game. Some really good play on both sides, some great defense. We just saw, some players, doing what they had to defensively on the side of Montreal. It was all St. Louis. You saw the time on attack was pretty much all them, but South with a goal and the assist, as you see, from Hans and Fat Matt. That goal came at 11:43. They finally got a good cross crease going. The only mistake St. Louis made that entire game, and it led to the game-winning goal in Montreal, taking the cup in 6. Who had that one? Not me.
Yeah, that was Pucker with the hot take of somebody was going to win in 6. I didn't have the guts to call Montreal winning in 6. I didn't have the guts to call St. Louis. I said somebody's going to win this game in Game 6, and Montreal doesn't disappoint.
Well, I think we said. I mean, I think we said, if they're going to win this one, they're better off to do it in 6. It wasn't even. But we thought that was because it was going to be their home. Their home game, and it wasn't even the case. So they wound up having to win this one as a road game, but certainly, it was you don't want to go to a Game 7 and then have to deal with this line. And I got to tell you, not having Clutch in there, I think hurt St. Louis big time in this game.
Yeah, that was. I think that was the biggest deciding factor in it all. Truthfully,
I'm going to try and get Midnight Fapper in here to talk and hopefully get some other players in here as he's got them available to talk about this game. He made some good saves in this one. It was, just a tremendous win for this Montreal team, and we're going to try and get them in here to talk about this game. Again, just. They played this game. It was just a victory for them, and really, defensively got the timely goal when needed, and it all just worked out for them.
Yeah, absolutely. It was a great game, and I think Midnight Flappers is in here with us, and I know Ehan wants to jump in. I know there's a couple other guys that wants to get in, so we'll try to get a couple of guys in here and celebrate this cup win with Montreal.
Raples not too happy RV didn't show up.
Fapper, hey, you're in here. Congratulations on a win. Wow, what a Game 6.
Yeah, man. I'm still trying to calm down from it. That was about as sweaty as it gets right there, man. That was a defensive war right there.
congratulations, Fapper.
Yeah, thanks, guys, man. Got to go pop the champagne pretty soon here.
Hey, you talk about that game. Obviously, it looked like it was sort of a mirror play on both sides of the ice. Offensive players trying to find whatever room they could. I think both defenses played as well as they could. You had to deal with a couple of shots and then big, juicy rebounds that you had to deal with. Talk about your defense in front of you and the difference they made in this game.
Yeah, man. I mean, Backhand, Jamboree, and Fat Matt, they've been solid all playoffs, the whole entire playoffs. And I felt pretty good going into Game 6 with that 3-2 lead when our other line of, the Dirty Dog, Big Little Guy, Vikings, and then, Dakota Pie and Blues, all, and Cabrielix, they all just did a great job in Game 5 to go ahead and get us that chance to take Game 6. And I felt pretty good going into it, man. And once again, I'm telling you, man, that Montreal defense can do some amazing things.
Well, we talked about it all playoff long. I mean, how well you were keeping teams in check, and I think we all thought it was a great effort up to the point of the semis and the finals, but weren't sure how it was going to be against a St. Louis team that had a lot of offensive power, and yet somehow you were able to shut them down. Their 2 victories, 4-2, but not a lot of scoring out of these guys. Obviously they scored 4 in the last game. They scored none in this game, and so really just you guys did a hell of a job keeping them in check the entire time, and it's got to be satisfying to know that a St. Louis team that a lot of people thought were just too overpowering offensively, you guys found a way to deal with them.
Yeah, I mean, we came in with a game plan from the very beginning, and we honestly knew whether, no matter how it was going to play out, it was going to come down to if we could beat White Knucklers in his line. And I know St. Louis had the whole issue with RV not showing up, and I hate to see it because we'd love to go ahead and do this with him there, but you got to take your opportunities where you get them, and we did that.
Yeah, and you guys didn't have a perfect availability either. Am I not mistaken? So you kind of got to take those knocks where they come.
Yeah, I mean, we all playoffs long. We're kind of trying to throw guys around, kind of make sure we had a good plan and make sure we weren't running into availability problems. Like once the series got deeper, but here in the Stanley Cup, my guys did a great job of really stepping up to make it clear that they wanted to be here to win this cup. And we ran into a few things where it's life. There's guys that are gonna not be able to show up on time or at a certain time that they said they might have been able to, and you just adjust from there. And that's where our depth really comes into play, because we're as deep as it gets.
We've got Big Little Guy and E-Hands in here. We'll talk to Hands first. Congrats on another great game. You guys struggled trying to find really good opportunities, trying to make passes, trying to get something happening, some one-timers. You finally connected on that one goal about halfway through the third period. Talk about how that play developed and what you saw there that was able to finally be open for you.
Matt made Fat Matt on defense. Shout out to the defense, by the way. They played a wonderful game. Same with St. Louis. Hell of a series. Fat Matt made a great breakout pass, and I saw South rushing in quick and down the side. I didn't really have a pass option to him, so threw a good rebound right to him, and he the garbage.
And so again, some great opportunities there, and in the second period, you guys had a little more going on, couldn't quite connect, but it really looked like St. Louis did a heck of a job too. Defensively in this game, doing a good job stopping not only shots going in but passes going across. They did a better job in this game, probably the best job they've done against you guys defensively all series.
Yeah, they played a hell of a game. I mean, for them in the first period, we had like almost 8 minutes of power play time, and we couldn't connect on it at all. We had a 5-on-3 for like 3 minutes, and they played great defense. It was a very hard-fought game.
Yeah, you guys played absolutely amazing, in every round of this playoffs, and just absolutely, did extremely well against this stout St. Louis team. You beat them up a couple of games. How great do you guys feel right now, winning the Stanley Cup?
Oh, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I'm sure Big and Jordan can say as well.
Mm-hmm. It's crazy, man. Quite the journey we had.
Playing all those games throughout the season and finally getting the ultimate prize feels pretty great.
Oh yeah, starting the season well below 500.
What were you, Fapper, when you picked up the team? 6-14. Brought it.
No,
4-14-2 was the official start.
Brought us back from the dead, and that's why I think everyone's like Montreal. That's why everyone was.
I want to make a quick shout out here, just because it's the one guy that stuck through everything is Ghost Bear, our left wing Ghost Bear. He showed up a couple times in the playoffs here and had some big games, but he stuck with it through. He was there with the team from day one when they were still with the other management, and he stuck through it, watched the team fold, watched new management come in, rebuild the team, and he stuck through it throughout the whole entire season. And I mean, he was there for us, and it was amazing.
Fabber, we talked on our nightly show a couple weeks back, and Obviously at that point, the regular season was just ending. At that point, doing that interview, I know that you said that you guys wrote out a chance. You guys wrote out the chance all season. Well, now, that chance is, it's not a chance now. You guys have won the Stanley Cup. It's a reality. What does that do? What can you say to other owners that, that kind of give them some encouragement to not give up when things get hard, or not to just kind of fold in when things don't go your way? What are some key words of advice that you could give to those guys?
Well, it's not over till it's over, pretty much. I mean, we started the season 14-4 or 4-14-2. We built the team all the way up to the last week where we were 4 points ahead in the Atlantic Division to have a chance to take the title in the Atlantic Division. We kind of had a tough week there at the end with a tough schedule. Ended up squeaking into the playoffs, actually, like barely, surprisingly. And we got in, and we felt like we had something to prove. And honestly, it really just comes down to, if you feel like you're down and you feel like your team isn't complete, keep fighting for those trades. Keep fighting for the right line combination. Keep making adjustments. I mean, hockey is a game of adjustments, and you're going to run into obstacles throughout an entire season. And you just got to keep making adjustments. And once you find that right combination, that right team, that right group of guys, magical things can happen.
So Down South Killer is joining us, and he is the hero from Montreal in game 6. He finds a way to bury that puck and give Montreal that 1-goal lead. Down South, thank you for coming on to the show.
South, you're supposed to say you're welcome.
Might be having some technical difficulties with Down, so we'll try to get back to him, but
he's lost.
Yo, I'm sorry, guys. I was muted there.
There you go.
Hey, I don't want to call myself the hero. Fat Matt, the start of that breakout. Ehans with a beautiful dish on net. I was just there to clean up the garbage. We played a great team game. 0 goals for St. Louis and 1 for us. It was tough fought, and I just had the opportune moment to put the one in that we needed, that made the difference. But Fapper with 14 saves on the night. Our defense held strong. Several PKs we had to fight through, but in the end we came out victorious, and I'm glad to call myself a Habs fan. All the way.
Hey, I want to get a question out to Big. What was it like sitting there having to watch that game and nothing, both teams struggling to score? Was it pretty nerve-wracking?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I was watching the stream because I played in the game 5, and then I instantly, left party, and I had your guys' stream up, and I'm just watching the whole time. And, I was just waiting for, a bad bounce or something, but they held it together, and they were good. I mean, I'm very happy they won Game 6. Yeah, they did an amazing job.
Yeah, we really didn't want to go Game 7 because that means Big would have had to play, and we didn't really want that to happen. So me and South had to.
You're just mad.
If you guys want, because I know you guys were talking about what you think the Game 7 lineup would have been for us. If you guys want, I can tell you what it would have been.
Sure.
I mean, we had we had it set all playoffs. We knew that we were going to play the same Game 7 lineup throughout all playoffs, and maybe a couple pieces would move here and there. But we had it would have been left wing would have been Big Little Guy, left wing would have been the Dirty Dog, center would have been Big Little Guy, right wing would have been Down South Killa, and then we would have kept the same D pairing that we had in Game 6, and then goalie we were going to go with the hot hand.
So you would split things up, because I thought Hans, South, and Fingers were playing for the most part, most of the time. No.
Well, I mean,
they just switched lines this week.
We had that. Yeah, we had that big line switch where Fingers moved to Down South line, and then we put Vikings up at right wing with Big Little Guy, and that obviously paid off. But you know, big little guy, Dirty Dog, and Down South Killa have played in that line combination before a couple times, and they've played, you know, they are familiar with each other, so we felt comfortable putting those guys out there with, you know, everything on the line.
You know, Fapper, I asked you this question when we sat down and we did your interview on the weekend show. So I'm going to come back. You've won the Stanley Cup. I'm going to ask you again this time. Are you going to come back and own Montreal in Season 2?
Yeah, I'll be returning as the owner in Season 2 for
Hell
Montreal.
yeah.
You better.
You know, I gotta make.
I'm not playing for no one else next season, man.
You know? But
Now,
this time, you know, it's going to be interesting because this time we won't be surprising anybody.
I will say that, Fapper, you come up with the most interesting things to put next to your links to join your Discord. What's a plug that you can say to any prospective players for this next season to say, hey, come play with Montreal, the Stanley Cup champs?
Oh, man. On the
Put him on the
spot.
spot.
You know what?
White Knuckles are already putting free agent in the Discord.
Oh, man.
Can we see White Knucklers in a Montreal?
You know,
He's got a good sense of humor, though.
Everybody that signs up for you know, to try out for Montreal, you'll get a 5% off back rub from Big Little Guy.
Yep.
Oh, man.
Sapper just got candy as well at the door when you come join
I do,
in.
yes. Yes, I give up, yep. Mm-hmm.
I was
it
going
all
to say,
here.
I think I've seen some
do.
special favors be promised. Is that going to be included?
That's a
We
guarantee.
do team bonding in the form of knitting. So we
I
like to
don't know.
knit together.
Midnight was fucking offering back rubs in our Discord.
Hey man, you know,
He's got very soft
Give me the
hands,
back
very
up.
soft, supple hands. Let's go.
That's why
Yep.
that's why the team chemistry is so good, you know.
Yep.
We stay loose.
Yep. Oh man, I got some magical hands, man.
Down South Killer, how important was it for you to get your pregame back rub from Fapper before you went into this
It
game
was
6?
the only reason. It was the only reason that I was prepared for this game tonight. If that wouldn't have happened, I would have been too tense. I've been stressed out. Hard day of work, coming to fucking win it all. I needed to relax and have that stress relief. Fapper did a great job. I appreciate it.
Okay, what else? I mean, obviously, from we've talked about how things started out for you guys, and I mean, yeah, obviously, winning a cup in any situation is a lot of fun. But is it sweeter because of where you guys came from to start the season?
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm joining this group of guys. I've played with most of them. But as a team pulling together and going as far as we did, all the way to the end, we expected it, we wanted it, and we talked about it from the beginning. But for it to be a reality, and especially the start of this season, how we had to drive hard to come back from a very, very low numbers, very low winning team, and just make it something and make it known to the league that we're here to stay and we're here to win it all. And with all the doubting going on, it was great to put him to shame, to shut him up, and finish strong.
I think it just goes to show the group of guys that we have that we can throw any lines together and they all seem to click no matter who's playing with who.
Well, we can't because South and I played a million games together, just like Dirty and I, and we had to split South and I up because we were centers.
I've been with E-Hans. I've been with E-Hans for 2 NHLs. I mean, I've been playing with this guy for a long time. So I mean, it's just chemistry, just unbelievable with everybody.
With Mr. Fingers on our line here, I haven't played with him that much. He usually has been playing with Big and Dirty, but we threw him on our line and none other than the Cup Finals, and it worked magic.
Instant click. Instant click.
Yeah, it was great. We played with Ghost Bear. Like I've probably played with every forward on our team, and I'm sure everyone else.
Both lines play a different type of style. You know what I mean? That's
we
the
just
thing.
we just play to
go
our
from there.
strengths.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really it. And I think it goes to show everybody, and for all the owners that are really looking to build a cup team, we aren't all, there's some good guys on this team, some really good individual players on this team. There's no big, huge names like white knucklers or anything like that on this team. But as a group together,
Speak for yourself.
Whatever.
I'm
You
just
just got
saying, man.
noticed like this last series.
Whoa. I'm just saying. I just said, man, I gave a compliment. I said individually we were all great players, but I said when you put us together, that's when you really see the magic happen. That's when you really see how well we click.
Yeah, nobody knew us. Nobody knew us personally or anything. Like, we just came under the radar, and here we are.
And obviously a lot of what we talked about in the past series were, how well everyone played as a unit and played defensively. Played strong, didn't leave guys high and dry, and it can be tough in this game to find 5 players to know where everyone is on the ice and to play defensively when you need to. In this game 6, obviously you guys, Hans and South and Fingers, you guys have had a lot of success up front. But you recognized that this was going to be a struggle from the beginning, and it looked like you knew, look, we've got to just stop the puck first, and then when the opportunity arises, try and capitalize. Is that kind of how it all went down in this game?
Yeah, no, definitely. We were all, we were tense. Not going to lie, we were tense. We were, checking each other, constantly making sure we were all in position. Everybody called each other out. We stayed humble, and we worked as a team. We took it. Constructive criticism on the fly was the most important thing for that game, especially when we're on the PK. You have to call each other out. You have to tell each other, hey, you're sliding out too hard. You're pressing too much. Bring it back. Work together as a unit, kill it off, and then we can push again. Next possession. And that's what we did great this game, and that's what allowed us to go without a goal. We got the shutout.
Yeah, I mean, we were listening to South all game, just yell at us pretty much. Yeah, that's all it was. He was the quarterback of the team, just yelling, letting everyone know it was mine. Yeah, it was. Nah, we all had the mindset that defense wins championships, and I think that was the mindset we all had going in. I mean, they were a great team. So we knew we had to play defense first in order to win that game.
Hey, any other questions from our guys, Pucker, Fort? You guys have anything for the boys before we let them go celebrate?
Yeah,
No.
anything? Yeah, I was gonna say, go celebrate. Congratulations, hell of a job, boys. Thank you for providing the streams and making this show possible. Thank you for putting on such a great show. And plugging along like you guys did and just creating a great atmosphere. Fantastic job to Fapper. I mean, he did an amazing job putting this team together. I can't tell you how proud I am of you guys for winning this cup. Great freaking job.
I'm sorry that we had to ruin your prediction though of St. Louis winning. I'm sorry.
Hey, shout out to Fort there. Shout out to Fort.
Yeah.
Hold the Montreal Canadiens down the entire series.
You've been backing us the whole time, Fort. You're the man.
Fort, call out from the beginning.
Hey, man, when like I've said, I feel the underdog story is always better. But obviously we're gonna let you guys get out of here. Go celebrate. Obviously, you guys will be on talk shows with us for our weekend show this weekend, which we are gonna do an end of the season weekend show. So you guys are more than welcome to come on. Just get a hold of one of us. We'll get you in there. And yes, I have supported Montreal all the way through.
Hell yeah, man. Appreciate it, bro.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you for everything, man. Yeah, you guys have done a great job all season.
Hell of a season, media team. Great job on the first season.
Yeah.
You guys are
amazing job.
Yeah, we appreciate it, guys.
Can't wait to see what's coming next.
Yeah, season 2, I cannot wait. It'll be really good.
Going to be awesome.
I'm bringing
I just
all my
hope-
friends. They're gonna join this league, and they're gonna check out the YouTube channel and check it out all the way through. You know, it's great.
We're the only friends.
media
We're the only
guys.
friends he has. Don't let him fool you.
He is. That's it.
I don't know about you
Yeah.
guys, but I'm gonna go celebrate.
Yeah, one last plug. Be sure to join us on YouTube and hit that subscribe button. We're so close to that milestone
did
of
already.
150
I did.
people. Yeah, absolutely. And anybody
that
that's
sub
watching the
button.
show
Hit that
right now,
sub
hit
button.
that. Yeah, hit that sub button. We've got some great content coming out this coming week, and would love to have you guys have a chance to win the giveaway that's coming up here pretty quick.
You guys won't regret it.
Yeah, guys, thanks a lot.
Definitely won't regret it.
Hey, we thank
thank you guys for having us.
we thank Fapper and South and Ehans and Big Little Guy for coming on the post game. Congrats again, guys, and best of luck next season.
Thank you. We'll
Thanks
see you
for
guys
having me.
season 2. We all signed up, so we'll see you guys.
You bet.
Appreciate it, guys.
Hey, we're gonna wrap it up here, but before we get going, I want to get a last word in from Fort and Pucker first. I'll let you go, Pucker. Quick recap: what you're feeling after this season, after this finals? What's your initial thoughts right now?
I think that Montreal did an amazing job on putting this team together and coming together the way they did, and then they just kind of showed what about 15 guys that come together and just kind of grind through can do when they set their mind to doing something. Did an absolute amazing job, and congratulations, Montreal Canadiens, for the Stanley Cup victory.
Ford, I'll let you get the last word in here before we say goodbye. What's your feeling after this season and this final this Stanley Cup final?
Personally, on the season, to be honest, man, I don't think that this could have ever happened without the support of the guys in the league chat and the guys that stuck around and kind of fought through some of the hard times and some of the bullshit that was going on, and all the guys that really support each other as in owners and players, like to stick through it. It's only the first season, and obviously we've seen a great first season come to an end tonight, and I'm glad that it came. Either way, if either team would have won, I would have been happy, because it's season 1. And just to be a part of season 1 is something spectacular. To have this much influence on this many people that were watching tonight, it was great. We got a lot of new guys, information on the league, kind of guys that never really even knew what this was were tuning in. And I think that that's great. Montreal, once again, congratulations. Dapper, great thing. Like I said, we're going to have those guys on later this weekend to kind of talk and figure out what's going on with them, what their plans are for the off season, and we'll maybe sit down with some other guys, maybe some guys from St. Louis, and kind of talk to them, see what was going on their side. But thanks to everybody, T-Sibs, Pucker, Best, everybody that's been watching. Thank you guys for supporting us and really kind of pushing us to do more and do better for the league.
Yeah, we thank Bess for being on tonight, and that's it for us here. We're going to sign off. Thanks again, Pucker and Ford. I really appreciate you guys helping out tonight. You've been watching the finals of the WEHL season number 1, and it came down to game number 6. And it was the Montreal Canadiens going up by 1 and able to hold on in the final seconds of the game to win the Stanley Cup here in season number 1. The Canadiens with a tough start to the season and have come all the way back to be champions. We congratulate them, and we congratulate the St. Louis Blues for playing as hard as they did and for playing well and getting to the finals and coming up a bit short, but certainly plenty to be proud of. We'd like to thank all of you for tuning into the World E-Hockey League. Season 1 is complete. We've got more coming up for Season 2. We hope you join us for Fort and Dog Chow, Pucker, Doc Marshmallow, Best, Knucklers, and Fapper, who helped us out as well. We thank you for watching the WEHL playoffs, and we will see you soon for more media action right here on the YouTube channel. So long, everyone.